Good afternoon. Destination this week, conversations we need to have. Absolutely imperative that we need to have these conversations. I'm Linda, I'm your motivational mentor, and we're here today to discuss having authentic conversations. Okay, so before we... Excuse me, I just picked the wrong one up from the side. Here we go. Okay, so before we can begin having the conversations we need to have, we first need to understand what it is to have an authentic conversation. Okay, so when we're authentic, it's authentic. The meaning of authentic. Sorry, I'm all full of energy from this morning at gym, so forgive me. Good morning. So to be authentic, it's of undisputed origin, not a copy, and it's genuine. So if you're going to have an authentic conversation, you're not going to bring up the past all the time, okay? You want to get into this moment and you want to make it real and raw and vulnerable, but you want it to be a brand new conversation. And here's why. If I can find... And the cat's going crazy today. Right, here's why. If you're going to bring up the past all the time, you're going to sit in your physical. Remember, this is the physical, this is our soul. This is the physical, and you're going to sit in your head all the time, and you're going to go round and round and round and round. There is nothing inspiring about a conversation that goes round and round and round. It won't inspire you, and it won't inspire the other person either. And remember, when we inspire, we breathe new life, because if we expire, we've got no life, okay? So we want it to be brand new, we want it to start from today, and we want it to be authentic, okay? So, drop all references to the past. And you know what? It's going to take a lot of self-discipline for you to do that, but in order to have an authentic conversation, in a conversation that you need to have, you're going to have to be willing to let go. Okay, that's another conversation we can have. But for today, let's stick with the authentic conversation. Key 2, it will contain vulnerability. Okay, so when you go to have an authentic conversation and you're learning to do this, we all need to learn it. Okay, there's no one exempt in the world, and we learn it as we go on through life and grow. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to sit down. And we're going to speak proper. We're going to actually come down here into the inspiring part of us, into our spirit, through our soul, through our heart and soul, into our spirit, okay? And we're going to bring new life to it. But we're going to be afraid to do that because we're human and we get scared about doing new things, okay? Risks. And that's the vulnerability part of us, is owning that we're afraid to change things up. Okay? You may find other fears. You may find fear that things won't go right, fear that you don't know how to do this, and you're allowed to verbalise all these fears until you can feel the space inside of you where it's authentic and real and raw about what's happening for you, what's your soul wound. You've got to know what your soul wound is too. It's really helpful. Key 3, in order to have an authentic conversation, you want and need an agreed time limit to begin with, especially for the men in our lives, okay? It's new. We can't sit here and go on and on and on and on about all our stuff for half an hour and then expect him to have kept up with it when his brain is wired absolutely straight ahead, one thing at a time, okay? So, and we're wired with lots of cross wires that go ding, 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 ding. I'll put the link to the Mark Gungor video below when I'm finished to explain our brains. And why do we do this? It's so that we can understand each other better, communicate better, and have greater authentic conversations, okay? Now, hi Brenda. So go with an agreed time limit and honour him or her. Honour the person in your life and say, what do you feel that you can cope with initially? Okay? Honour them, because if we don't ask the questions about what they feel they can cope with, how are they going to know to ask questions as well? All right? So, key 4, use I statements. This has been around for years, but it's a discipline, okay? I feel I need to go about things this way, because the minute you point your finger, you've got more pointed back at you, okay? And part of your vulnerability in these authentic conversations is being willing to say, oh, damn, I just said you. And I've got to learn to say I and laugh, go, oh my goodness, I'm doing it again, okay? Because if you can be that vulnerable with each other and you can still love each other through all the mistakes you make, then you got a good relationship, okay? Life is a learning process and we've got to want to do this together. Whether it's your best friend, whether it's your mother, whether it's your dad, agree to disagree, but have the authentic conversation where you say, I'm afraid to say this, okay? Because when you do that, you get people coming around you who are also willing to have authentic, vulnerable conversations that lead to personal growth and awareness, and we begin to change the world one generation at a time, okay? And like I just said, key 5, I get ahead of myself in these videos. We can agree to disagree. But here's the thing, if you agree to disagree, you've got to honour that situation, and if it sits in you and it festers like a wound at a soul level, then you need to go and do something about it with somebody, with a professional, and not your best friend who agrees with you that your husband was a jerk. Doesn't work. Or your best friend that agrees with you that your wife's asking too much of you. Doesn't work. Okay? People who do that to you or say things like that to you absolutely love you, but they don't have your best interests at heart for the bigger picture of your life. Okay? Your life is here to change things for the generations that are coming after us, to serve, to make even the space around you a better place, a kinder place in your own family. Okay? Now, let's just start with our own family. That's enough. Okay, now, unlike me sitting here talking, your key 6 is to listen more than you talk. Have you seen it going around how you've got 2 ears and 1 mouth? Okay, then we want to sit here and we want to listen, and we want to put empathy in place. Now, empathy is when you can feel that you're walking in that person's shoes and you can really grasp hold of what's happening for them, what they feel, what they sense around their environment, what their environment looks like for them. It doesn't mean you take responsibility for that, but it means that you're involved, heart and soul, you're involved in what their journey is. And then we flip it around when it's their turn to talk, and we be empathetic with them, and we learn, we teach ourselves how to be empathetic with them about what their situation is. You know, I'm pretty late to the party, and I was watching, what do you call it? You know, Gilmore Girls. It's a really, really old show. And I was watching it last night, and Lorelei's mother, the grandmother who's uptight, she didn't understand what her husband was saying at a heart level. So it looked like he was losing his job, etc., etc. And we've got to understand that for a man, that's a big thing. Okay, you know, her attitude was, well, you can go and do something different, but he doesn't want to do something different. He's doing something he loves. And we as women have got to stand in the gap where we understand that men feel very deeply and very passionately about things, absolutely hyper-focused on what they feel passionate about. And we have to be willing to be empathetic about their differences too and how they see life. Okay? We can't go into marriages expecting that they'll see life the same way we do. They're wired differently, for starters. But they do have the most beautiful hearts and souls when they use them too. And I don't say when they use them as in they don't use them. It's just that we haven't raised generations to be conscious of when we are and aren't using our soul. So it works both sides, okay? Now, key 7 is absolutely important, okay? If you're stuck, okay, and you can't have an authentic conversation because you keep bringing up the past, then you've got to seek professional help. You've got to have further assistance when you need it, and you need to feel comfortable about that, okay? Everybody walking this world needs help. We don't get raised with all the information we need to do life, and when we reach certain parts in our life where we need help, we seek it because we're adults, we're responsible, and we can do this, okay? And we do hard things together. We don't do them alone. If we continue to try and do life on our own, we only ever see the mirror we're looking into. And we can't, well, a lot of people do, okay. But with a greater education, we can do life in a healthier, happier manner, okay? We can live in a soul space that breaks down all the barriers, that we get to sit in a space where we can just love on people. And sometimes that's all they need is 2 ears and a zip lip, okay? Zip lips. Sorry, getting the pronunciation out this morning is challenging. Now, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to do so below, and I will absolutely get back to you, not a problem at all. If you're on replay, let's do a hashtag replay and a hashtag heart and soul. We want to live our lives with heart and soul, okay? We don't want to get stuck in the mental. And the mental and the physical layers, we want to get deeper, and we want to live our passionate life, our plan and purpose, okay? So we're doing hashtag heart and soul today. And I love you, and I thank you for being here. And I appreciate that you watch the videos, okay? Blessings and dreams, and I will be here again at the same new time tomorrow, all right? With more inspiration about conversations we need to have. Okay, bye for now.